What's up, Internet? Welcome to the Cigar City Book Club book review. I'm your host, Thad Diaz, author of the Cigar City Case Files, hard-boiled detective series that takes place in the city of Tampa and follows the exploits of an active duty firefighter who's a bail bondsman and a PI on his days off. Today we're reviewing The Monkey's Raincoat, the very first Elvis Cole novel, and let's get to it. When Ellen Lang hires Elvis Cole to find her missing son and husband, this trail leads him to the seedy underbelly of Hollywood. And what starts off as a missing persons gig soon turns into a case of murder, drugs, and involves some very ugly people. But Cole has to sift through the lies and follow the case wherever it takes him because the life of a missing boy hangs in the balance. So, what did I think? Now, when I first started rereading The Monkey's Raincoat for the first time, Elvis Cole really didn't come across to me as that hard-boiled detective, right? He's got the Mickey Mouse phone, and he's got the goofy clock on the wall with the Pinocchio clock on the wall with the eyes that go back and forth, and it just the way that it was the way that Craze sets up that first scene. It's almost a little hard to take him seriously, but that changes as soon as he starts working the case and he starts pounding the pavements. He's trading blows with these pretty tough characters, and he works his way through the case, sifting out lies and breaking down clues, and you realize this guy's got a lot more on the ball than you first had, and then you appreciate that earlier scene even more because you realize that this veneer of this kind of semi-serious person actually covers a very Marlowe-esque, old school Marlowe-esque character that does peek through as the story goes on. Now, I really like the Cole and Pike partnership, right? Cole is that traditional investigator who follows the clues and takes the case as far as he can take it. And Pike, he's the soldier of fortune who brings the 80s action uh, to the book, right? And and that's great because you get the one guy who is that he's the guy that asks the questions, beat pounds the pavement, gets into the fights and the low level violence, and then Pike he comes in, he's more quiet, reserved, and let's just say his actions speak louder than words, right? So they really have this very different presence. They have this very different skill set, and they complement each other very very well. And I think that makes for a good story, and it creates characters that feel well rounded, and at least as a main characters that feel well rounded and complement each other well. So as I was saying, most of these characters are well drawn. I really like Elvis Cole. We talked about some of his complexities, how everything's not as it seems, and he's got this underlying personality that these underlying talents and personalities that you don't see on the front end. And I would say that Ellen, as a developing character, is very, very impressive as well. Um, but there are a few that come off as a little bit flat, and I would, O'Banion, I'm looking specifically at you. But the mystery is smart and it's hard boiled through and through. There's lies hidden inside of lies, and plenty of false trails and blind alleys. And of course, we have that showdown with lots of action that usually is more courtesy of Joe, the energy that Joe Pike brings to the scene. But it's all classic. But the lead up to that is all classic hard boiled detective uh, tropes and a great mystery, and I love it. Now, that final stretch does feel like a hard-boiled detective story collided with with a 80s action movie, right? And I'm a fan of both genres, and I got to be honest, I do personally gravitate towards the more grounded um, uh, Chandler, uh, Bosch, uh, even Kinsey, And if you've read my work, you probably have picked up on that. I like the grounded, grittier violence. But having said all of that, Craig still goes as a smart mystery with memorable detectives and enough gunplay to remind us that, hey, man, this book was written in the 80s, right? So I think it's a strong introduction to the Elvis Cole and Joe Pike storyline, and I highly recommend it. So, do you prefer your hard-boiled detective stories more grounded and subdued, or do you like that over-the-top action? Leave a comment below, and let me. Then we'll talk about it. Okay.